Hello, team, the Army of Light, Earth Division, the boots on the ground. It's Shawna L. Francis, and today is June 27th, 2023. I really appreciate you guys showing up here for my weekly briefing. Things have really shifted, in the last few weeks. And so, again, I just really appreciate everybody who's hanging out with me for all these changes, the next phase, all the new phases that we've experienced together. I did have quite an intense couple of hours with Melchizedek today, an hour with them yesterday, preparing for today, and it was another major timeline adjustment. And I'm really torn with this. I've actually, I've been very, very excited. I'm getting really close to launching the merchandise store and my site redesign. I mean, it's got to be this week. I think we just have a few minor things to take care of. So I've been really in good spirits all week. Again, super hungry, pretty tired, same kind of shtick as last week. But really, really feeling upbeat. Before I get into what happened today and tell you everything with that, I want to just I want to show you this. I'm so excited about it. So here's some of the first merchandise. Army of Light Earth Division logo here. And I'm also wearing a tank top here that I ordered. I ordered a couple of items just to see what the quality was like. This is in blue and it's an extra large. It's really big. So, kind of getting to know the products and how do they feel? What's the weight? I'm loving the sweatshirt though. I've washed it already. It dried up really nice. It washed really nice. Yeah, I have 58. We have 58 products in the store. 58. And it's all the fun stuff. It's a Merkaba. It's the Army of Light Earth Division. We've got the US North America version of it. We've got an Africa/Europe version of that logo. We have a Galactic Division version of that logo. We have stuff with Crete on it, the ascension symbol that came through here a couple of years ago from the Galactic Federation of Light. Finally able to put that on some merchandise. It's been a dream of mine to do this. I'm so excited about having this merchandise, and it's been so fun to design shirts and things with some of the things that are that have come up in these channelings. And my assistant Jess, my friend and assistant colleague Jess, has really helped me. I want to just thank you publicly, Jess, for all the help that you provided the last, what has it been, 6 months that we've been working on this? Maybe not quite, but pretty close. So she got the store up and running, and I've been adding products and tweaking some things. But in all my videos will be on my website. If something happens to YouTube and I'm taken down for whatever reason, everything will be at shawnalfrancis.com if you haven't checked that out. Also, real quick, please sign up for my newsletters. I'm getting ready to put out the new newsletter with the new store and my redesign. And there will be a coupon code that you can use in the merchandise store just for folks who are part of the newsletter. And I'll run all kinds of specials and for all of you. So you can be getting your Army of Light Earth Division swag. We've got boots on the ground swag. Anyway, I hope you like it. I'm so excited about it. Can't wait to get your feedback on it. But anyway, I'll let y'all know when it goes live and you can check that out. Okay, so back to what happened this week. So, definitely, again, feeling Melchizedek very much has stepped back and they're doing other things. And it's, writing the timelines and taking care of some of these adjustments that are happening. And again, this galactic war is still in full swing, they told me today. And I even had to ask, are Racer, Max, and Manted okay? And they said yes, that they're fine, but the fighting is still raging on. So it's been a long time. How long? 7, 8 weeks now? 9 weeks? 10 weeks? I'm really not able to keep track of time like I used to. Yeah. So knowing that we had this video to make, I wanted to make sure that I had some good time with Melchizedek. Yesterday, all I did was energy work with me for an hour. And it was really nice to reconnect with them. I can definitely feel when they are, removed more so than usual. So came back. Hopefully this is going to help with my energy levels. I have started vitamin B drops, and some other supplements for my low iron. But just feeling better, getting back into my old groove here. But really today, super intense. And Melchizedek just did that energy work for an hour, and they said we'll talk tomorrow. So that was today, and just sat down, and I barely moved for 60 minutes while they just got so deep into my field and were raising my vibration. And just like my heart was beating fast. I was having hot flashes, my energy kind of coming out in and out like waves. And after I'd say about 40 minutes, that whole feeling where they start pulling my energy out of my body started to happen. And I recognized that right away, because this is the kind of thing that was happening when we were doing the other timeline adjustments, even working with the Black Cube technology, and the work I had done with my reptilian self, with the murdering of my partner, the suicide. Um, these are in the moment when I'm experiencing these things. I mean, there's a level of detachment, but it's very vivid in my mind's eye. I can see a lot of detail, but thank goodness, there is a bit of a detachment there. I don't feel like I am reliving this and going to have PTSD or anything like that. And it's always with love, and I know it's always for the highest good of what's going on here. And I fully, fully trust Melchizedek. Um, Also, while Melchizedek has been kind of busy doing their other things, I've gotten further into the halls of Amenti this last week. So back in there a couple of times, learning more about how that whole realm works, and how to work with the guides there. But they told me, Shawna, just think of this as your second home. Come back anytime. And it's been a few days, but I haven't had a whole lot of time in there. But it was really nice to hear that. They said, folks with really big missions, you need to. There's a lot to learn here. Just come in whenever you can. So I definitely want to be making more room for that now that the website's going to be launching. I will have more time to free up for that kind of work. Um, okay. So the pulling out of my energy, out of kind of like the front of my kind of between my crown and my third eye, just outward this way. And so much so that it's like it pulls my whole body forward. Like I feel like my whole body wants to move off of the couch. It's incredibly intense in the moment, and I just have to keep breathing and just breathe and allow, and kind of help kind of participate with it as well, and not fight it at all. And it came to a point where I found myself running through a jungle. And there seemed to be some torches. It was lit, but it was nighttime, and it did seem to be us by myself. Um, and I'm realizing, okay, this must be something here that needs to happen. Again, I had a feeling this was a timeline adjustment. So it's like I'm there on my couch meditating, and I'm in this state, but I'm also very present in that space as well. And it's like trying to understand. Maybe it's like playing a video game or something where you're in, like I'm kind of in control, and I'm looking around but not sure what's coming, and just being alert for what's coming next. So I see in the distance there kind of like an illuminated steep hill, um, kind of in the distance there. And so I make my way toward this area because it seemed to be where I was heading. And I I came upon this scene where there were a few people, I'd say 5 or 6 people. It was very much like an indigenous type tribe, kind of, again, like I would think of like an old Mayan culture, an old Aztec culture, something, in the jungle, body paint, um, masks and feathers, and this type of thing was happening. Um, it was very somber. It was a very somber situation. But energetically, I kind of made it to the top of this hill, and I was just trying to get a feel for what's happening here. And I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail, but I do want to give you kind of the gist. Because actually, I feel like it's important that these details come forward. In a nutshell, what I had been, what I was being shown was a sacrifice of a baby, in great detail. I see that there's a child on a platform. It's a stone platform. There are a couple of people on each side of the platform. There's a ball. It's a stone ball that's been formed, and I would say it's about this big, like the size of maybe a beach ball. And there's these little ridges on the side of this ball where two people on one side and two people on the other side are lifting this big stone sphere up in the air. And this is the murder weapon. Horrifying to see it. And team, I wasn't just seeing it one time, I was seeing it happen over and over and over again. Like I couldn't shake it out of my mind. In all the detail of what that might look like, if you can fathom it. And I don't want you to, and you don't have to. And if this wasn't something where I asked Melchizedek, do you want me to make a video with this? And they said yes. On some level, those of you, and I'm enjoying kind of really this relatively intimate group that we have here on YouTube. We're coming together, and there's no doubt in my mind that there's a frequency that binds us, that we are soul family. We are a starseed family that have come down as light workers to work with this energy, to work in this field, and to do this kind of the heavy, heavy lifting. And also, as much as I hate to admit it, this is part of my reckoning. This is part of my karmic balancing. And if you're new to my channel, there's a lot of backstory here, guys. I've been talking about this now for a couple of years, a good year and a half, but I was a negative reptilian for a very long time, many, many lifetimes. And according to Melchizedek and some of these other guides and the GFL and Cryon, I had a lot to do with some of these bigger programs that the reptilians use for the subjugation, the murdering of humans, and the harvesting of this fear energy. And Melchizedek clarified today, like this was something this was part of what I had going on as a negative reptilian in this energy, as that being playing that role. These kinds of baby sacrifices were part of something that I contributed to this in some way, shape, or form before I decided to go to the light and really leave that entire experience behind, that existence behind, and step into the light and become an angel in training, basically a seraphim. So I watched this scene. This gets done, and this baby gets tossed over the side, and I see that there's a hole, and this baby is thrown into this pit. And then I find myself in this pit. I'm in this pit energetically with my consciousness. And I am horrified to be in there, horrified in that moment. And, and then again, I see the baby drop, and I see the baby drop, and I see it's like it kept repeating like a dozen times. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I'm just trying to, be calm, heart-centered, heart open. I know how important it is that this kind of thing be rectified and come to the light, and that we clear these fields, and we really destroy any of the energetic debris that still lingers from these kinds of acts. And it's not like they're over. These things are still happening today. We know this. I've channeled it directly. I would never have wanted to believe that, but we have information. I have information that I can't deny it. I just can't deny the existence of these kinds of acts. So I'm just sending this baby love that was coming through this pit opening. I'm just sending the baby love. And I'm looking around me, and this has been going on a long time, and I'm sobbing at this point. I'm really sad. I'm crying. And a minute or so passes, maybe not even a minute, and I hear a growling, like this deep growl. And I realize that I'm not in that pit by myself, that there is something else down in there with me. And so I swing around, and here comes a reptilian being that looks a lot like a dinosaur, more like a dinosaur than an upright humanoid reptilian. But I think it's really more the idea of it than it being so literal, but that this was the energy that was in here just gorging on this act, on this sacrifice. And I understood in that moment that it wasn't about eating the flesh. I hate to even say that out loud. Or drinking the blood, but it was about the fear and the subjugation. Yeah. And so this negative reptilian essence there in this pit with me. And I'm like, Melchizedek, what is going on? And they said, Shawna, this was you. This was you. This was the type of thing that you helped create. And I'm just not believing it. I mean, I'm believing it, and I'm feeling it, but it's just so horrifying to see it from this vantage point. As that species in that moment, I wasn't thinking about how horrifying this was and how awful it was. That doesn't even cross their minds. This is a way of life that they have forged for themselves. Absolute selfishness, service to self, right? And wrong, just plain wrong. So I'm going to go into my notes here. I understood that on every full moon, a sacrifice like this at this particular place with this particular community was happening every full moon, and it would be 1, 2, or 3 babies at that time. So it was happening a lot. And Melchizedek said, Shawna, this is part of your karmic balancing to see it from this perspective. 200,000 years, it's taken me to get to this point. Yeah. And at this point, I'm thinking, was I literally the one to architect this whole idea of human sacrifice, baby sacrifice, child sacrifice? I got the answer that no, this was part of more of a collective, but I definitely, I had a big part to play. It sounds like back in my old existence as reptilian. All right, so Melchizedek said to me, Shawna, at this time, you need to, and here's where the timeline adjustment comes into play. You need to release this community of your grip, release them from your power and your hold. You need to release them by letting them know that you're leaving. Tell them that their sacrifices are done and they can go on living without this quote unquote, sacrifice to appease the gods, that this practice is done. I'm like, okay. And at that point, I was up out of the pit, and I was able to speak directly to the leader of the ceremony, who was, who had been up at the top of this hill, doing this work and kind of running the show from up there. And I basically just said, in the moment here, I'm like, thank you so much for your devotion. These, I am leaving and these sacrifices are done. You are free to live as you wish, to raise your families as you wish, to, you know, do your religions as you wish. I'm done. I'm leaving. You can build your empires and raise your families. Like I said, have abundance. But this this part of your existence is over. And I just I felt a huge amount of relief. It was palpable, this relief and this kind of this heaviness seemed to kind of dissipate, and it's like I could breathe a little bit better, and I kind of felt this other person, this other, this community breathe a collective sigh of relief. I and at that point I asked my angelic family to please come in and help, release all the beautiful souls that were sacrificed, to help them ascend, to help them, be released from this karmic burden, to move out of this frequency into the light. So just, picturing my wings coming out and this entire community, this pit, all of it, the negative reptilian presence there, just bathed in light, just beautiful, loving energy. And I'm just seeing myself hugging all these babies as they go back up out of the pit and up into the sky, and where they're being taken care of by the angels. Really, I'm just allowing the release of this, um, and that made me cry some more. Just this beautiful act of being able to, in this moment, regardless of space and time, which are irrelevant, to help clear out the field here and to bring such much needed love and light. I was doing the Ho'oponopono and apologizing, and I'm asking for forgiveness, telling them that they're loved, I love them, thanking them for the role that they played in our history. I say history, it's not history, guys. I mean, this is now. This is in the now. And in that moment, kind of coming out of that scene, I really realized that I could see the earth. I could see how, this is, a dark pocket here, that it needs to be lifted in this moment. We're not fixing something or changing something that happened, you know, however many thousands of years ago. Like, this is energy that's real today. And this is why it's so important that all of us, everyone who is drawn to these messages and who are, playing the role of a way shower or a light bringer here, that we understand that time is irrelevant. Everything's happening now. If it happened forever ago, it's happening today. And quite literally, it's also happening today. These child sacrifices, the baby sacrifices continue to happen. They continue to happen. So it's the full spectrum. Okay. And it was at that moment, this place started to rumble. It started to shake, like a small earthquake was beginning to form. And at that point, I just kind of put out the word, like, for all the community that's in that area to leave, to get as far away as possible, because I felt like this was going to explode or, implode or something. What happened, what I saw in my mind's eye, was this pit filling up with magma, with lava, hot lava, just filling and filling and filling and bubbling until it reached up the very top. And it didn't go over, it didn't flow over out of the pit hole, but it filled it up right to the top. Then I saw it cool into super hard rock, basically filling that pit up after all those souls had been released to the light. Yeah. And I sat there for a long time, just taking all that in and sending that area love, just being in that space, And I decided to ask Melchizedek, okay, Melchizedek, how did we do here? Are we done with this? And he said, Shawna, we're sorry because we know that this was difficult for you, but as you can imagine, completely necessary. And this wasn't so much about you as a singularity, but more as the collective negative reptilian consciousness. However, you did have a real hand to play in this kind of worship in this kind of, of these acts in order to help feed the hungry reptilian appetites for human fear energy. I mean, it's not easy to know this, even though I don't have any recollection of it, and I'm coming at this from a place of love as a seraphim, as a light worker. Oh, it's hard. It's been tough to come to grips with this. They said, let us take a moment and imagine this scene replicated around the globe to help anchor in this clearing. So we did that, working with the angelic realm, just blanketing the entire planet with energy here. And I just said, again, stating affirmations out loud, just like we do when we do our prayers and our guided meditations. I'm, speaking all of this out loud to help bring this love and light. And again, more ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Drawn out and really in detail for what I wanted to set my intentions for this moment. And I was saying, along with Melchizedek, you are free, you are free, you are free. God is, God is, God is. Okay. So I'd like to for those of you who are drawn to help with this kind of clearing, I have spoken with Christar and Cynthia, and I'd like to invite you to join us for more clearing for this particular situation. And this is going to be on Friday. I've decided I don't want to wait too long, but this coming up Friday, June 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And I'll put this in the description as well so you can look up your time zone. I'm going to do this over Zoom, and we'll do it live. And we'll just see what happens. Done a lot of this work kind of with smaller groups, but I think for this kind of thing, feeling it the way I'm feeling it, and knowing that all of you are so anxious and willing to step in and help and really be of service. So this, if you're available to join us live Friday, June 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, that'd be amazing. Like I said, we'll do this over Zoom. We'll do it live together. And I will not be posting it. It's just too sensitive. So it's not something that I'll have on my YouTube channel later. We'll just do it in the moment. And certainly if there's a meditation that wants to come through, and a guided affirmations for this particular thing, I will definitely create that. All right, guys. I also this afternoon just really, thinking about how, the folks who deal, they're really handling our quote unquote entertainment industry, just how extremely bloody and violent all the entertainment, the content that we consume on Netflix and Amazon and regular TV. I just a few days ago, I was up late, kind of, flipping through my TV. I don't hardly ever watch TV, but I hopped onto Netflix and I pulled up a movie. It was this Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth. And I haven't watched a movie like that in forever, but it popped up and I just thought, what is this about? I played it for a while, maybe 30 minutes. Just terrible. It's a terrible movie. There is a fight scene in a jail that is so graphic. It's so graphic. I mean, I was sitting there kind of coming out of this meditation here with Melchizedek, and I am um, thinking about this movie, and he takes the butt end of a gun and he beats the person's face in with it, and they show this. It's not like it's just left up to your imagination. Like, we're to the point now where there is just nothing sacred. It just, what can these show producers do to get it, to the furthest extreme possible, then even over that line. It's no wonder that we, you know, have so much gun violence in this country. And, I mean, violence, it's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. It's so I'm just talking, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox with this, but I was just really thinking about how horrific this has gotten, and how the negative reptilians have just controlled all facets of this to acclimate us to violence. To, they may not be doing as many sacrifices as they were, maybe they are, but certainly we've got all this other grossness that we consume, and all this violence, and all the fear energy getting released through that whole process, just literally through our television sets and through our movie theaters. Anyway, wow. All right, I said Melchizedek, thank you so much for your help with that. Is there anything else? I'd love to know what's going on with you. Is there anything that you want me to add to the video tonight? And they had a lot to say, actually. All right, so here's Melchizedek Notes to all of you here. Shawna, we are truly in the midst of a transformational time for humanity. Everyone must tighten up their bootlaces. Be very vigilant with your fields. Stand up tall in light, confident, vigilantes for the light. There will continue to be so much coming from outside humanity and from within humanity to help keep the momentum of fear going and deepening more so than ever. All who hear these messages must be sure-footed in love, knowing confidently who and what you are in truth, and being that beacon. Hold your torches high, my friends. Make sure that that torch is burning bright. There will be many who will seek this light through the darkness, through the chaos and the confusion, and all the static and the debris. Welcome them with open arms. You are in service by not succumbing to the negative reptilian regime's ploys and fear tactics to keep your vibrations suboptimal. And they continue here. This era requires a strong faith and commitment, and at the same time, a sense of peace, feelings of joy, and complete alignment with the heartbeat of a planet who is ascending and evolving. You are her sentinels, and all of you, dear ones, are fully equipped to take on this task. Let it be so. Okay. All right, guys, that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Thanks again for all your beautiful, loving comments, for joining me here, for your emails, for holding the light, for taking on this role, for supporting me on my journey, for being a part of this team. I'll say it, I've said it before, I'll say it again. What you're doing is so important. Don't ever forget that. All right, guys, I'll let you know when this merchandise store goes live. I hope that you love it. Sign up for my newsletter, and we'll take it from there. All right, I love you all so much. Mwah. Oh, and by the way, reminder, Friday, June 30th, 1 p.m. we will pull together a Zoom meeting and we'll do some more clearing. All right, Dean. Okay, bye-bye.